Well, if you've been following the events in Russia and Ukraine, an interesting wrinkle that's happened in the past couple weeks is there's a WNBA basketball player, Griner, not sure how you say your name, but apparently she got arrested in Russia and she had like vape pens or something like that that had little too much THC in it, which is verboten. And so she's been arrested for drug possession, is it?
Correct. Charges.
Drug charges, and other people are speculating that she's there as like kind of like a political prisoner because she's a high profile American, and so potentially Putin can use her as like a little chip to try to get some leverage on the United States. So what's going on, Esty? Who is she and what you got?
So before I get into who she is, I did want to point out that there isn't really much media coverage on this story. And one part is they're trying to keep it low so it doesn't become a big problem. Like I said, like Russia could take advantage of it. But like fans and the fans are not happy with that. And they're like saying, oh no, it's because she's a woman. And if it was a man, it would be a different story. I mean, there's also that part. But if we think what's going on with Ukraine and Russia, I'm like, hey, you don't really want to like do too much because it can be like an advantage. But getting into who Brittney Griner is, she's 31 years old, a native of Houston, Texas. She earned a basketball scholarship to Baylor University where she led the team to a national championship. She is now one of the WNBA's most dominant players in history, widely considered the best offensive player in the league. She's a 7-time WNBA All-Star and 2-time WNBA Defensive Player of the Year. Her height is 6'9", so she's very, very tall. And obviously it's not hard to spot her or like to mess with her. And she's currently a star sentry for the Phoenix Mercury. So that's who she is. Now we get into what happened with her arrest, what drug charges she has, and more information on her situation. So on February 17th, 2022, she landed at the Sheremetyevo International Airport. Am I pronouncing that right? It's a weird name. But
Sheremetyevo?
Yeah. It was outside of Moscow, and her reason of traveling was to play for another season with a Russian league. But then she was detained in Russia on drug charges. The Russian Federal Customs Service claims to have found vape cartridges containing the marijuana concentrate hashish oil in Griner's luggage. She spent 3 weeks in Russian detention.
So she's out of detention now?
Was out of detention, yeah. It was 3 weeks there. They were just like figuring out what's her new like.
Oh, so she's
move.
out on like.
I don't know.
On bond or something.
They don't even explain like what's going on or where her location is. A lot of people don't know where that is.
She went from detention to retention.
Now the consequences, she is under investigation, which during that time, for a large scale transportation of drugs. So it was a large scale. So yeah, she might have a couple of those. An offense that can carry a sentence of up to 10 years behind bars in Russia, according to the New York Times. And obviously we know that Russia is invading Ukraine, and it happened in February, so this is the time she was arrested in detention. The Euro League did suspend all Russian teams, and the US and WNBA officials began calling players out of the country, right? But it was already too late for her because she was believed, they were trying to figure out the timeline, that she entered Russia a week earlier. So she arrived in the 17th of February. And obviously when Russia invaded, it was the 24th. So that was the time.
Bad timing.
Timing is still unclear. They're still figuring out. And they didn't, like, nobody knew she was arrested. The team didn't even know she was arrested. Nobody knew what was going on. And a few weeks later, that's when they released the picture, like her mugshot. So it was like out of detention type thing. There was a press release. And the Russian Federal Customs Service said in a press release that a sniffer dog had led authorities to search the carry-on luggage. So she put everything in the carry-on, which sometimes you got to put in the bigger one, not the carry-on. of an American basketball player and that it had found
Oh,
vape.
it was on the carry-on.
Yes.
So she was torching it up in the plane.
Yep.
You know it. Made that long flight bearable.
Yeah. And
She shut off at the front gate. Eyes were probably all bloodshot.
that's insane, the carry-on bag.
That's pretty ballsy, honestly. Going to Russia.
She's a professional WNBA player.
A
She
weed
probably
pen
felt
on your-
entitled.
I mean, if she's traveled, I don't know if she traveled to Russia a couple of times, but maybe it's not her first rodeo.
Yeah,
maybe,
true.
That's what I'm like,
Maybe
Probably
she's done it
also-
before.
I don't know. More to the story to like investigate if anything. But now fans are
Obviously,
worried.
She ain't no James Bond.
The fans are worried about her and complain that she isn't getting the right attention because she's a woman. So a month after her detention, little's known about her circumstances. No one knows what's going on with her. They're like,
So people
The
got all
shadows.
fired up and nothing's been said since.
yeah.
Has
But they're
anybody
also
heard?
trying to keep it low key. They don't want to create too many big waves because they don't want her to become a pawn in this.
Correct.
So the fans
situation.
are mad. They feel like she's not getting any attention.
Because she's a woman. If it was like a man, it would be like getting like
But,
national
so
headlines.
she's not actually in jail. She got released.
Well, we have to go more into the timeline. She does get.
Oh, okay. I guess I got a little. Put the cart before the horse, apparently.
Yeah, there's like a lot before going into that.
Holy shit.
Because this happens and then that's when
she
they
brought
did.
receipts. She got the facts and data.
Yeah, I have to, just in case. So, where am I? Oh, there's obviously a lot of support for her, and it also engendered a sense of outrage among some fans who say the response to Miss Griner's detainment has been strangely muted. Fans and experts say that the attention she's been given in comparison to male players exposes long-standing gender inequalities in professional sports. So that's what they're doing. Quote, if this was an NBA professional men's league player of the caliber, this would be on the cover of not only every sports page, but every news media page in the world, said Tamron Spirel, a sports journalist who is writing a book on the WNBA and Miss Griner's contributions to the league. That's what we're saying. But some people have speculated that the silence may be intentional, an effort to avoid inflaming an already precarious situation amid negotiations with Russia. So there's like half of people think one, and the other half think B. So
Yeah, like some people want to fight for her, for attention for her, and the rest of people are saying, don't bring attention to this. We don't want it to get worse because this could damage. You know, she could get stuck there. She'd be imprisoned.
could get
become a
worse. who
pawn.
knows? Yeah. So obviously you have the WNBA who made a statement and they said, quote, we are aware of the situation in Russia concerning one of our members, Brittney Briner. Our utmost concern is BJ's safety and well-being. On behalf of the 144, we send our love and support. We will continue to closely monitor and look forward to her return to the U.S. So there is support, but obviously not too much
I'll read this one.
into it.
So here's the evidence for that she's a political pawn, potentially. Possibility of Griner being used as a political pawn is real. Quote, I think there's certainly a potential for it. When someone is looking at that type of potential jail sentence in America for an American, they can take a plea deal, and then maybe they can get some type of lesser sentence and still be able to play in their sport. That's off the table here. Dan Lust told Fox News Digital. He's a New York-based sports attorney. Brittney Griner, even if she wanted to, couldn't really fight the charges in a way she could do in America.
Now the latest that everyone was waiting for, yesterday on March 17th, after an investigation was granted, the Moscow court came to a decision of extending the arrest of WNBA star Brittney Griner until May 19th of this year. The Russian state news agency TASS confirmed it. The number one priority is to push more privately behind the scenes, the more communication between agents and...
So what does that mean, extending the arrest? She's still under arrest, but she's not in jail, or she is in jail?
It's like, I don't know if she, because they say they got out of detention. And
She still has charges against her.
Oh, okay.
But wherever she's being held, whether it's jail, I don't even know if she moved into like a big jail. Like, I don't know where she's at. Like, there's no news of it. So we don't know what's going on over there. Probably her agents will know that.
Yeah.
But there's nothing we don't know. The only thing we know, she was in detention. And then she had those charges. So wait, Grant, until May 19th, that means can she come back home?
She's not playing basketball.
She can't.
She's on lockdown somewhere.
Where,
She's in
though?
Russia. We don't know where.
Where in Russia? That's another thing. Like, if Russia is invading Ukraine, like, you know, what's going on over there? Are they keeping her safe at least? Or is there going to be, like, something going on with her life? I don't know. So weird. And we all, like, the public knows that Brittney always kept her family in the dark. Like, she never liked to put them in the spotlight. So obviously there's no comments on them because they're not going to talk about it. They were never in the spotlight. But she occasionally, Griner always mentioned her family in interviews. So it must be hard for the family right now.
I'm guessing her family is in communication with the U.S. government.
Yeah.
And that's why they're keeping quiet.
That's the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do.
Like,
if that was my daughter.
And here we are talking about it.
But, you know, if that was my daughter, like, I would be doing whatever it takes to protect her. And if the U.S. government is saying don't talk about it, then they're not going to talk about it. If they thought that they could help her by coming out, they would have said something already, you know?
Yeah. I'm interested in the story that Griner is going to be telling us. Like, what she lived, what really happened. Because from hearing from her words, they're definitely going to make a documentary. I know for a fact. Because we don't know what's going on. And she might be living a hell of a world right now. Like,
a hell of a world.
Or she could just be in a
Cocaine
like
is a hell of a drug.
a posh hotel room for all we know. We have no idea.
Rick James.
I don't know.